Good afternoon. I'm Dr. Nyaka NiiLampti with Mind Over Body here at Southeast Psych, and this is Play Like a Champion, our sports psychology show. Today we are here with Ms. Jessica Hooks, who is a licensed massage therapist and wellness coach and owner of Just Focus, a comprehensive wellness program, and we're going to be talking a little bit about what she does and some of the services that they offer and ways that we work together. So before we start, say a little bit about sports massage. How is sports massage a little different from sort of what we typically think about when we hear clinical massage or massage therapy in general?
Absolutely. Well, first of all, thank you for having me. But with sport massage, we do a lot more evaluation. So we spend a lot of time talking with the person about their actual sport, what position they play. Sometimes we even watch them practice or watch a game. We go through their specific injury, and we discussed with them a lot about their history, as well as their strengths and weaknesses. And so by the time we actually get to the work, we know a lot about their body and as well as their history of injury. And it really helps give us a comprehensive view of the person, not only as from an anatomy perspective, but also as an athlete. And then the work itself is a lot more directed at injury prevention, as well as trying to help the person become or help their performance over the long haul by reducing stress on the joints that are used most often, providing blood flow to the particular area, and also just increased strength and mobility.
Okay. So when you think about, for example, a baseball player and some of the injuries that they might sustain, so just overuse and rotator cuff and those kinds of things. So more really specifically focused to what an individual athlete experiences and how you guys can help with that particular set of muscles.
Absolutely. And again, we do a lot of research. So several of us are sort of specialized in individual sports. But then if we've never worked with a particular athlete before or a particular sport, I spend a lot of time on ESPN watching professional athletes perform in that particular sport so that we understand not only the rules and the requirements of the game, but also the individual stressors on the body.
So tell me a little bit about the populations that you work with. What's the youngest that you work with?
We generally don't go any younger than sort of the preteen era.
Okay.
So 12 to 13, 12 to 14 is really where we start seeing our youngest athletes. And especially for our highly competitive athletes, that's really actually a great age to start them because they're going through growth spurts and so their body's changing rapidly.
And what are some of the most common injuries that you'll see with the younger athletes, those preteens before they've really hit that growth spurt?
A lot of times it's just overuse. In a preteen stage, while they may be extremely athletically competent, their bodies are still at a very young place. So they need a lot more rest than an older athlete. They need a lot more recovery time than an older athlete. So a lot of times the injuries that we see are just kids that are kind of hitting it too hard at an early age.
And so as they get older, what are some of the most common injuries that you'll see with more developed teens?
So with our high school athletes now, because of the emphasis on strength training and agility training that we're seeing in our high schools now, you're seeing actually a lot more joint issues, things like ACL tears, rotator cuff, and so we actually are seeing pretty significant injuries at an earlier age than we really ever have before. So we actually work with a lot of athletes to try to do some preventative things to really develop the musculature in those areas to prevent joint pain and injury. And then once a joint injury has occurred, we really work with them through the long-term rehab process to try to prevent future injury.
Okay. One of the conversations that we have, Sean and I do these workshops on parenting your student athletes, and one of the things that we talk about is how early now kids are specializing in sport.
Absolutely.
And I would imagine that as a result of that early specialization, some of those injuries that they're having, they're occurring more and more frequently, and especially those overuse injuries.
Absolutely. So what you used to see is, especially in high school, you'd see your three-sport athletes. So they would play football, basketball, and run track or something in each of the 3 seasons, and that was great because it was essentially built-in cross-training. And now what you get is athletes, especially in your big-time revenue-generating sports, that are going to start at a very early age, and they go all year round. So they may do an AAU league or some sort of summer work, but they very rarely get an opportunity to cross-train or completely switch to a different muscle group or a different load group, was what we call it, to allow their bodies some rest in those primary muscle groups and really to develop sort of the small muscles that allow them to have some support when they go back to that sport later on.
Okay. So if you could give athletes one tip what would that be in terms of preventing injuries or in terms of being able to manage those injuries?
What we always say to our athletes is know your normal. And so the biggest tip I can give is understand really what's normal for your body. And sometimes, nagging pain, especially if you've had a previous injury, is normal for your body. And therefore really pay attention when you feel something or experience something that is outside your normal, particularly if it lasts for longer than a few days.
Okay. And what's one of the most common misconceptions that you'd say you've run across regarding injury prevention?
Probably that massage therapy or physical therapy or any type of what we call maintenance work is not necessary unless you're actually hurt. And so what we tell folks is think of it like going to get your physical, or think of it as anything else that you do to prepare your body for competition. And once you're already injured, there's very little we can do other than the rehab process. If you come see us as part of maintenance, we can help prevent a lot of those things.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about where you're located so folks know where to find you.
Sure. So we are actually located in an office park right across the street from Costco on Tyvola Road. And we also go out to lots of activities and events, so you'll often see us out at races in the area. And we certainly have folks that are willing to travel. We have a large staff that's available for any type of event like that.
Okay. And Mind Over Body and Just Focus has a collaborative series of workshops that we're doing that are focused on sports injuries and managing those injuries, both from a mental perspective as well as from a physical perspective. So the first one is April the 23rd, and the second one is May the 17th. Those are both Mondays from 7 to 9, and they'll be in your office.
And I actually think that the second one is a Thursday, if
Okay.
I remember correctly. Yep, so from 7 to 9 p.m.
Okay, that's May the 17th. That's a Thursday. So we've got two great workshops that are coming up, and you can check them out on either our website, 90percentmental.com, or Just Focus.
Right, so our website is www.justfocuswell.com, and if you go to classes, all of that information is listed there.
Awesome. Well, thanks for being here today.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.